Hello
Hi!
and welcome back.
Hey, so, what you got for me this week? I hear you got found footage.
Yes, I have the top 10 found footage movies that
Is
I
that
like.
is that your list or someone else's list?
It's my list, but I would hope a lot of people would agree. I mean, I've watched other found footage movies this
Mm-hmm.
week and they might be good, but, I don't think anything can come close to these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, well,
And number 10 is one that I recently saw, but it's also one of the first to ever be known to be created. Cannibal Holocaust, which was made, I believe, the same year I was born, 1980.
yeah.
Um, but as I watched that, and being an animal lover that I am, I was really um, torn between should I like this movie or should I not? And for the past month or two, I have not been able to figure out which one. I really don't know what to think about it. But I do know that my friend Nia here has something to say about it too.
Yeah, the animal killing in that movie kind of got to me.
Yeah.
If they were the fast, quick, kills that didn't bother me too much, but there was one drawn out one that they could have lessened a little bit. So they kind of that. And but pretty much what I have to say is, I have this cousin that warned me about this movie, and it's not that I didn't, believe her or didn't want to, take her warning at heart or whatever. But this is just the movie I always wanted to see wanted to see for a long time. So, to my cousin, who I'm going to leave nameless, but you know who you are. I agree. I understand why you didn't want me to see it, but I'm kind of stubborn. I just wanted to make my own decision, my own kind of critique, I guess, or whatever, just to see it. But I understand now. It's one of those movies that kind of stuck with me. So, if the filmmakers were willing to go to jail for that and have to prove that the people in the movie were actually alive, that just movie's very realism, has a very realism feel to it. So,
And even worse
yeah.
than that, really makes Americans, if you haven't seen it, warning, it makes Americans look really bad.
Yeah, yeah. So I am going to get up now and let him finish talking about his movies, his found footage, and let his wife Meg come and sit, because she is going to be doing another category, which she will tell you when she gets ready to start hers. So thank you. I'll be back later.
Okay, number
Hi.
9. Oh. Yes, this is the new face. This was the one behind the camera last time.
Hey, how are you?
Number 9 on my list it reminded me a lot of Ghost Hunters, and I think my friend Nia is the one that told me about it. But it's called Grave Encounters. It's really good and really scary. Number 8, I have a funny story. Um, my friend Nia and I first went and saw this. Then I went and saw it with my wife. But it was about to leave theater, so I had to make sure I saw it. It's called The Gallows. Now, before the movie started, I swore I wasn't going to jump. And I have a problem with jumping, especially with found footage. But I didn't expect it to happen so quick. It happens in the first few minutes of it, and after promising my friend that I wasn't going to jump, not only did I jump, but she wore my popcorn for the rest of the movie. But it's called The Gallows. Number 7, it actually puts two brand of horror movies together that I really like. That's your anthology and found footage. It's called VHS. Very good. But I heard that the third one is not so good. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Number 6 I found on accident on TV one night. And it was they actually messed up. They put it on a different name than the movie it actually was. But it's about what happens if you're an atheist and you degrade God, and then instead of trying to believe in God, you go with looking into Satanism, and it shows what can happen if you do that. It's called The Possession of Michael King, which was a really creepy movie. Number 5 is the first found footage movie that I ever saw, and the first time I saw it, I didn't see it in theater. I rented it because I had heard a lot of stuff about it, and I heard, that it was a true story. But then again, with all the found footage movies, according to them, what isn't a true story? But it's called The Blair Witch Project, and a lot of people have, said that it's not very good because nothing really happens. It's mainly people are just looking at each other, talking, cussing, and running around like a bunch of wild Indians. But I decided to watch it again one night when I was still living at home. Everyone had gone to bed, turned out all the lights, and thought, well, let's make this interesting. Let's see if I can really find the creepiness that everyone else has found about this movie. And I did. I mean, considering the fact that nothing really happens in it, it's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Because, they're in the tent at night and they're hearing all these sounds around them, and you wonder really what is going on. And after further review of that, I have found that stories might say that it actually is loosely based on a true story of some things that happen in that forest, which I think is in West Virginia or somewhere. Number 4 is also a movie that Nia told me about. It's called The Taking of Deborah Logan. And if you like Exorcist movies, this is a very good movie to see. Number 3 is actually a sequel. And it has probably the greatest jump scene I have ever seen in theater. Paranormal Activity 2. And if you haven't seen it, look out for a kitchen scene. That's all I'm going to say. Number 2, of course, you can't have a sequel without having the first. That's Paranormal Activity. And number 1, and I had to go back and forth because I was thinking about putting The Blair Witch Project at number 1. But I got to remembering a movie that I was told to see. My wife had gone to bed early one night, so I said, okay, I'm going to check this movie out. And I probably should have watched it during the day because not many movies that I see really freak me out. This did. It's called The Den. If you haven't seen that, see it. And that's all I've got.
Yes, it was very scary. I did see that one, and that was very scary.
And I believe you got a list for us.
Yep. My list is family movies. My number 10 movie is Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. That is a very good one because it's about horse jumping, and the main character ends up being blind because she does it without any because she does it without practice, or she has an accident that makes her blind, and at the very end she tries to horse jump one last time, and she does it without even without seeing and everything, and she makes the jump, and everybody's so happy that she made it, and it's just a really great movie. You just gotta see it.
That's good to know because I have not seen it.
My ninth movie that I like is Adventures of Pippi Longstocking. Tammy Aaron is in this, and it's she's like an orphan, but she lives on her own and befriends two kids, and she comes up with cool ways to clean her house or have fun, and she's got a horse and a monkey? I don't know. And she saves some kids from orphanage from a fire. She's very heroic, and it's also a very good movie. My number 8 movie is Parent Trap, the original Parent Trap with Hayley Mills, and she plays 2 sisters, and they meet at a camp, and they don't realize that they're sisters till they hold up each other's parents' pictures, and they find out that they're siblings, and they come up with a scheme and switch places after camp. So the mother thinks it's her daughter, and come to find out it's the other daughter. And at the end they end up getting back together, and the parents are divorced, and at the very end the parents end up getting back together. It's very cool. And my top 7 is Pistol, the Pete Maravich story. This is based on a true story, and it's about basketball, and it's Pete joins the basketball team, but everybody doesn't understand him, and he not everybody likes him, but at the very end everybody respects him, and he doesn't win the game for him, but they still stand up and respect him, and it's just a great movie.
I think he was really small for a basketball player at that time.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It's been a while since I've seen it.
And my number 6 movie is Rudy, Sean Astin is in this. He plays a football player for Notre Dame, and it's also based on a true story. And one of the main reasons why I like this movie is because my family is for Notre Dame, and I'm for Notre Dame, and it's just a really great movie. My fifth movie that I really like is Princess Diaries. Anne Hathaway, Julie Andrews is in it. Julie Andrews is the queen, and Anne Hathaway doesn't realize it, but she's related to the king, and has the choice between having a regular life or being a princess, and at the very end she becomes the princess. And but she's constantly contemplating and but she also goes through princess training with Julie Andrews, and it's a really good movie. And it's also taken place in San Francisco, which I have actually been to San Francisco, and I've seen a lot of the places that they filmed it. And number 4 is Air Bud, and he's a golden retriever, and he plays basketball, and the owner of him is like really, really mean to him. So this little boy finds him and gives him a really good home, and he becomes part of the basketball team, and at first he's like a, what is it called? He's the mascot, but then he actually becomes part of the team when one of the team players is hurt, but there's also like other movies of Air Bud, like Air Bud, Golden Receiver, he plays football. The Ninth Inning, he plays baseball, he plays soccer, he plays volleyball. There's like 5 or 6 movies of it. And my third, this is where I came to love killer whales and learned about Keiko, the killer whale. He plays Free Willy, and this came out in 1994, and watching the movie Free Willy had allowed Keiko to move to Oregon, a bigger pool, and to see if they could keep him alive and all this, because he was held captive in Mexico, in a small pool with other animals, and I think it was New Mexico. And so when he moved to Oregon, he became healthier, and eventually after he gained weight, and when he became healthier and gained weight, they eventually moved him to Iceland. And he was trying his best to be free, but he just couldn't he got sick again, and unfortunately he died. But that's, like I said, that's where I learned to love killer whales, and I still love them to this day. My second top movie is The Neverending Story. And this is a fantasy story about a little boy who steals a book from a bookstore, and he reads it in school by himself, and he becomes involved in the story, and he doesn't realize it, but he's the one that's actually there to help him.
And if you love 80s music, that song pretty much solidifies what the 80s was all about.
Yeah. And my top one movie is E.T. Extraterrestrial, and Henry Thomas is in it, and Drew Barrymore, and the Henry Thomas is becomes friends with E.T., and he feels everything that E.T.'s feeling, and they end up getting really, really sick, and then but they survive, but it's really good. And
Bring your Kleenex.
yes, bring your Kleenex.
And Reese's.
And Reese's Pieces, which I love.
It's been said that she's E.T. to me, Elliot.
Yeah.
See ya, goodbye. You've done.
We are now done. And thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
See ya.
I hope we did better as far as knowing what we were talking about this time than we did the first time. We were kind of gun shy. But see you next time.
Sayonara.